13th Annual Student Innovator of the Year. My name is Nicole Stewart. I'm the director of the Weedman Center for Global Leadership, which is housed here in the College of Engineering. The Weedman Center hosts and manages and organizes the Student Innovator of the Year competition. To start with, we're going to have our SIOY Student Director, Annie Ellis, give our opening prayer.
Our dear Heavenly Father, we're grateful for this day, and we're grateful for this opportunity that we have to be here and to study at this university. We're grateful for the students and the work that they've put into their presentations and their projects, and we ask Thee to bless them, that they will have Thy Spirit with them. We're so grateful for all the many blessings Thou hast given us, and we say these things in the name of Thy Son, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Okay, thanks, Annie. We're pleased to welcome tonight our MC. He is a BYU engineering alum. He graduated with a degree in mechanical engineering, and he's an original cast member of Studio C. So please join me in welcoming James Perry.
Hey, what's up, everybody? How you doing? Everybody good? All right. Woo! All right, this is gonna be so fun. This is the third year in a row I've done this, so hopefully I'll do it right this time. Great. All right, well, we have some VIPs here that we would like to recognize. First off, these people in the first couple of rows. If you wouldn't mind standing, and we could thank you for being here. Thank you so much. Okay, so this has been 13 years now that we've had the SIOY competition, where students turn ideas into reality through funding, mentoring, and some healthy competition, like we're doing right now. So 2 weeks ago, 45 teams competed. They presented all their ideas, and judges whittled them down to the 7 finalists who came to this final competition. So today, our finalist teams will now compete for over $50,000 in prize money. Woo! Yeah. SIOY competitors are judged on 3 categories, according to this judging rubric. The first being, as we're in the College of Engineering, engineering. Did they actually have to build something? All right, then the next thing is their innovation. Is it creative? Does it be innovative? As I am right now. All right, and the last category is impact. Okay, so based on these 3, according to the volume of each piece, the percentage of their score will be judged, and then we'll have our finalists. All 7 are going to walk away today with $4,000 just for making it so far, so congratulations, winners. We've done it. That's so exciting. But of course, we have more for the third place. They'll go home with $8,000. The runner-up will be $10,000, and then our final Student Innovator of the Year wins a total of $12,000. Okay, so you, our audience, will also choose a finals favorite who's gonna go home with an extra $2,000. So that could be any of the people who end up in first, second, third place, or anyone else. Just a special thing that you guys get to provide for them for being your favorite. So, in order to do this, we need our judges. So we are so excited to introduce our finals judges. Every year, some of them have come back. They know that every year I have introduced them in a special way. The first year, I introduced them all as different Avengers based on their past experience. For instance, someone was in aeronautics, and so they were Iron Man, you know, flying around, that kind of thing. The second year, I did the 5 love languages. And this year, I'm going to follow just what's going on in the world. Someone's had a big year this year. You know who it is? Taylor Swift. Someone got it right. Do we have any Swifties here in the audience? Me? Come on, be brave. You know you like it. Okay, so every judge is going to be represented by a Taylor Swift song. Congratulations, you may win a Grammy today. Okay, so our first judge is Eric Ellis, a BYU mechanical engineering alum. He got an MBA at Santa Clara University. He revitalized the technology development and product engineering at L3 Communications, led a billion-dollar unit for General Dynamics as the Senior Vice President and General Manager, and currently serves as CEO of FMI Aerostructures, it's going to be relevant, in Los Angeles, California. So, the lyrics that came to mind were, "Baby, like we stood a chance, two paper airplanes, flying, flying, flying." And I remember thinking, are we out of the way? Yes, we got our switchy right here. This is exactly what I wanted, guys. Right here. Well, let's see if you can get everyone before I name the title, okay? And also, NBA from Santa Clara, which is close to the Redwoods. So, two things. All right. Our next judge is Chris Musso, managing partner for McKinsey & Company's Rocky Mountain region, also former president of Polaris Industries Off-Road. He led a $4 billion business producing several 100,000 machines every year, with over 15 years experience driving strategy and performance with CEOs across chemical and EV spaces, as master's degrees in material science, business administration and technology policy, and a doctorate in engineering systems, all from MIT, and a bachelor's degree in manufacturing engineering from BYU, a program he continues to support. And so the lyrics for this one, just a boy in a Chevy truck that had a tendency of getting stuck on back roads at night. Tim McGraw, that's right, the original Taylor Swift hit. All right, so that's your song, Chris Musso. And sorry, let's give a clap for each one of them. So, Craig Paulin got a bachelor's in mechanical engineering here at BYU, an MBA from Yale. Remember that? Joined PSM Industries as a marketing manager and became general manager, purchased the company and became president, then built the company to a world leader in design and engineering solutions for the automotive, power tool, and sporting goods industries. He served as president of a $3 billion international trade organization and on advisory board for Yale School of Management. Currently serves on BYU Engineering Executive Council. Okay, so this is a deep cut. We'll see if even you can get it. This dorm was once a madhouse. Champagne problems, my goodness. Okay, Yale is a fancy school. Champagne's fancy. Dorm is school. I had to stretch a little bit for that, but you know, that's okay. You know, they say you can't fit a square peg in a round hole. I can. All right, so that's your song. And give a round of applause. Thank you so much for being here. Okay, judge number 4 is Ryan Woodley. He's a proud graduate of the electrical engineering program here. He also has an MBA from Harvard Business School, is currently the CEO of Netcraft, which provides cybercrime detection, cybercrime being the key word, and countermeasure services to enterprises and governments. Before Netcraft, Ryan was the CEO of Progressive Leasing, which grew from $220 million to $2.5 billion in revenue and became public during his tenure. Prior to Progressive, Ryan was COO and CFO of DigiCert Inc. He was also an investor and board member of Utah tech companies Conservice and PDQ. So, I mean, this one's going to be easy because the title's in the line. Because of the cybercrime stuff, I knew you were trouble when you walked in. From the song, I Knew You Were Trouble. That's the title. So thank you, Ryan Woodley, for being here. Okay, our last judge, number 5, is Brady Wolford. Brady Wolford is a senior principal R&D engineer at Stryker. He spent the last 15 years developing innovative medical devices. Medical being the key word. He has successfully taken a number of products from initial development to launch, providing millions of dollars in revenue, and is a lead inventor on 10 issued patents, with several more pending. He has a bachelor's and doctorate in mechanical engineering from BYU, is a previous adjunct professor at BYU, and And the guy with the camera needs to get out of the way of the teleprompter. Thank you. No, I'm not using a teleprompter. It's all memorized. President of Convey It Software Company. And his song, okay, here are the lyrics. Band-Aids don't fix bullet holes. Bad blood! Oh, man. Thank you so much, Brady Wolford, for being here. And what is your name? Caston? Yeah. You're the Swiftie? Yeah. Well, you win. Congratulations on being the SIOY. No, just kidding. All right, so let's get down to it, guys. Each team will have 4 minutes to present and then 5 minutes for judges' Q&A. And just so you don't think this is awkward and when I jump up and tell them to get off the stage, we have no mercy with those times, okay? 4 minutes, not 4 minutes and 1 second. They understand this. We practiced this yesterday. Okay, they know. So you can hope that I come on and disrupt the whole thing and yell at them if you want to, or you can, pray for them to be successful. Whatever you want to do. There will be giveaways for all of you. So, yeah, look, tiny little woohoo. Are you more excited than that? Giveaways for you guys? All right. Okay, so with these giveaways, guys, this is how it works. So you each have your tickets. You should have gotten some tickets for the raffle. And when I call your number, you come up here next to me, and I will hand you the thing, and everyone will know that you are luckier than them. And then you will go off and you will talk to Jonathan, who has a form that you can sign, something about schools giving away stuff and making it legit. I don't know. As Ursula would say, we merfolk have this little thing to guarantee good conduct. Okay? A legal document binding and completely unbreakable. So long as you are a mermaid, you will never age a day, nor will you unless you sign this contract and forfeit your soul forever. So let's get started. All right, guys, we have some amazing stuff here. Seriously, I'm so excited for you to see what they have in store. So let's welcome Team 1, BioMe.
Hey guys, this is BioMe, and quite literally, this is the future cure to IBS and many other gastrointestinal diseases. So even in this very room, 1/4 of us suffer from something called microbiome imbalances. Across the world, that's nearly 2 billion people, and they comprise a $60 billion market seeking diagnoses and treatments. My brother, Matthew, is the inspiration for both me and for this project. In high school, he was diagnosed with what's called small intestinal bacterial overgrowth, or SIBO for short, and because of which he developed malnutrition. He was unable to attend Brigham Young University for several years or serve a traditional proselyte mission, both of which were extremely important to him at the time. Well, for those who aren't suffering from these issues, you may be thinking to yourself, this is just a stomach ache, right? Wrong. Microbiome imbalances have been shown to cause diseases in addition to food sensitivities like IBS, SIBO and its many variants, Crohn's disease. It's even been shown to be correlated with mental illness and cancer. Now that you see this list, you probably want to ask, what's in my microbiome? The problem is, before my invention, you couldn't. There's breath tests that will tell you if there's an overgrowth present, but quite literally, you are better off flipping a coin than taking this test. You can also DNA sequence your fecal sample, and you may think that since it's coming out of you, it's a great representation of your gut, but it's not. It's the leftover. It's highly degraded, and physicians won't use it as a confident biomarker for decision making. So this left me with the question of, how can I tell you what's in your microbiome? My first prototype was utilized a common approach called PCR. This is when you copy DNA and just make more copies of it, and it tells you if a certain DNA sequence is present. The problem is when you do that, this exponential growth actually ruins the ratios between species. And so I had to come up with a whole new way of thinking about it. And this whole new way is blood. I present to you the first ever blood-based test to quantify your microbiome. The idea is actually pretty simple. In your gut reside hundreds of different species that all have their own unique DNA. When they die, that DNA is stable enough, it actually diffuses into your blood. So when I collect your blood sample, I can actually find the DNA that came from those species. I've designed 30,000 probes that consist of single-stranded DNA with a chemical called biotin attached to it. These look for those pieces of DNA that are unique to these species, grabs onto it, and using streptavidin beads, we can actually wash away everything else and keep only the DNA that came from those species. And when we sequence it, well, we get a beautiful depiction like this. It tells you how much you have and how much you should have for every single species in your microbiome. Now, this is huge because let's be real. Diagnoses like IBS are unhelpful. They're based around symptoms as opposed to causes, and they lack meaningful treatments. By taking this test and having a personalized census of your microbiome, suddenly we can diagnose and treat root causes. Instead of having IBS, you have an overgrowth of E. coli and or an undergrowth of Yersinia, both of which are extremely treatable with narrow-range antibiotics and probiotics. To this day, my brother is still managing his symptoms, but fittingly, he's going to be one of the first to cure his symptoms. Him and hundreds of millions of real people. Take Ben Gubler, Colette Bloomer, Derek Ward, Lindsay Layton. They've all been told they have these illnesses that will last a lifetime. It's simply not true. Today marks the end to confusing, unhelpful, and untreatable diagnoses like IBS, SIBO, Crohn's disease, and the beginning of personalized care for everyone. Thank you so much.
Well done. Well done. That was way under time, so I couldn't jump off and interrupt you.
You're welcome.
All right. You have 5 minutes with the judges.
Okay, thanks. Hey, you guys.
Yeah, quick question for you. So I think you mentioned that you'd characterize like 30,000 species or such DNA strands.
So currently,
how much of that? Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, just to correct you, it's actually hundreds of species. There's just hundreds of probes that are able to very accurately determine those species by the quantity of said probes.
So how much of the total biome does that capture? Like, is that just a portion of it or a large section of it?
That's a great question. So far that captures every species that has been isolated from the human gut. So the way this test will work, it will actually grow on itself. So when we discover new species, we add it to the database, create new probes, and we're continually able to find new species within human gut microbiomes.
Got it. Thanks.
Can you talk to me briefly about what prototyping you've done and how the actual hardware and testing is coming along?
Yep, I'd be happy to. So the first prototype, when I mentioned PCR, this whole project actually started with an effort to be able to diagnose acute appendicitis using real-time PCR in an emergency-based clinic. I discovered that because this DNA is found in the blood, you can actually do PCR within the blood. Well, when I consider on a grander scale of all these different species within your microbiome, that's when we transition to the usage of probes. The idea of it is that these probes, we isolate the DNA, we heat it up so it's single-stranded, and these probes, because I've done an analysis to find unique regions for each species, I have probes that are complementary to it, meaning that when it finds this location, it'll click on quite literally like a Lego. The biotin attached to the probes, the DNA that clicks on, will then attach to the streptavidin beads, and we can do a wash step where we get rid of everything else but the DNA that came from the species we're looking at. And that way, when we sequence it through a DNA sequencer, we're only getting reads that belong to the species in your gut. And just simply the read counts and ratio to one another will tell you the overgrowth and undergrowths.
Great, thanks.
Yep.
Can you tell us what you're studying?
I'm studying genetics and biotechnology, which is pretty fitting for this.
Okay. Do you have some support for this project from professors? I mean, are you working in concert with anyone?
100%, yep. So this technology that using probes to do a pull down is actually novel technology developed by several mentors of mine, including Dr. Tim Jenkins and Dr. Jonathan Hill. The provisional patent that I have for this project is taking said protocol and making a lot of adjustments to do it on such a grand scale to be looking at hundreds of species at a time.
How much do you think the test will cost?
It should cost around $200, which in comparison to our competitors is already cutting them by at least $50.
Is this test run on existing equipment in existing medical labs?
Yep,
Or is it
so the protocol is what's under patent, but we just run it on Oxford nanopore technology. They have DNA sequencers that we can run it through.
okay.
Are you presenting general, I mean, does the general population of physicians accept what you're presenting, or in what fashion would you get them to accept this?
So that's a
novel
wonderful
concept?
question. Yeah, just because of the nature of the diagnoses like IBS, they really are symptom correlated as opposed to causes. So a physician often gives that diagnosis when they don't know what's going on. This novel approach will take time to introduce the clinical community to convince them of its efficacy. However, in literature, it is quite prevalent that they believe microbiome imbalances are the main driver. The problem is there's no diagnostic tool like mine to actually be able to prove that. But in our validation set so far, it's looking great. So we're happy about that.
How large is the validation set?
So this current one is actually just based around the efficacy of the probes to identify species, which is 98% plus. Sequencing is 99% accuracy plus. Coming this semester, we have validation sets coming from BYU students for SIBO and IBS. Come the summer, we'll have more, hopefully, CLIA samples for Crohn's disease as well, and we can move forward with FDA approval. In terms of size, I didn't answer that specifically. We're hoping to have 100 people per sample group.
Thank you.
What's your next biggest technical challenge over like the next 6 months to overcome?
It's just the fine tuning of ratios in the protocol so that we can have accurate normalization between all the species. That will just take some tweaking between reagents, but that's just a lot of bench work.
All right, no, you did fantastic. Thank you so much, judges. Oh, feels good. Feels good. All right, we've got our first giveaway. All right, everybody? So get your tickets ready. And it is going to be this climate hammock. Okay, oh yeah. Yeah, everybody loves a hammock. A good hammock like a climate. This is going to last a long time. And this was started by a former BYU students. Successfully launched several outdoor gear products with climate, and they're still going strong today. So who's going to win? Got a 388087. Going once. There it is. The silent person's raising his hand. Wait. He listened to his teachers growing up. You have to go faster than that, buddy. It's going. It's going. It's going. I did not mark a path up here, but you will find it. There you go. Awesome. Oh yeah, verified. Thank you. Very honest. All right, there he is. Go ahead and talk to Jonathan about signing your soul away. All right. Well, that was fun for him. All right, so let's welcome our next team, Salt Block Inoculum.
This picture is heartbreaking for farmers around the world to see. This land has too much salt. And when the land has too much salt, the plants are not able to grow to their full potential. The salt kills the plant. Meat lands. A farmer here in Utah, he's facing the same issues with salinity. He uses two common strategies, overwatering his farm and using soil amendments. These solutions are costly in time and money, and they significantly contribute to climate change. We are Salt Block Inoculum, and we are helping plants stand up to salt. We've developed an entirely new way to help farmers deal with salt. Our patented bacterial cocktail helps plants become salt tolerant and dramatically increases farmers' yield. Although other bacterial cocktails exist, none have addressed the issue with salinity. Here's Michael. He's going to explain more about our engineering and how this product works.
Just like humans, plants have microbiomes too, except in their roots. Our bacteria partner with the plant to be able to provide essential microbial tools as soon as it sprouts. This is without the use of harmful chemicals or even GMOs. Our path to a commercial-ready product began with Dr. Nielsen's initial discovery and work with halophytic microbiomes around the Great Salt Lake, pictured here. I want to go through our 2-year testing and product iteration phase now. By isolating bacteria from these halophytic shrubs, we were able to obtain a range of different isolates. From these bacterial isolates, we then converted those into different biofertilizers. From these biofertilizers, we then robustly tested in A/B setting in sterile environments such as rice, alfalfa, corn, etc., until our final synergistic bacterial cocktail was patented and formulated. However, as I mentioned before, these were all sterile lab experiments, and we had to make the jump to commercial trials. Things like existing microbiomes, non-sterile environments were all completely unknown factors. But most importantly, we had to make this technology work as a solution for farmers. Farmers are usually in extreme debt and thus highly resistant to change their traditional farming methods. So we had to make a solution that was not only virtually zero friction to implement, but also incredibly cheap. We did so by placing our bacterial cocktail into stasis and then enveloping commercial-ready seeds with this technology so that the farmers had all the tools they needed to be able to stand up to salt as soon as the seeds sprouted. We were thrilled to be able to have tried this technology on 1,000-acre commercial-scale farms, where we saw an increase of 47% in biomass and yield. That means that for 2% additional cost, we can increase the profit of farmers by 26%. That's a game changer for farmers like Lance, as well as farmers around the globe.
Around the world, 2.5 billion acres are affected by salinity every year, and this number is growing. Farmers spend $27 billion trying to deal with that issue every year. Although the North American market alone for our product is impressive, we at Block Inoculum care about impact. 92 million families in developing countries are affected by salinity, and if these farmers and families can't deal with increasing salinity, they're often forced to migrate to uncertain futures. Our patented technology would allow these families to grow and stay where they are. In fact, one of our co-founders in India right now, traveling with the World Trade Center to get our products in India this season. It's fitting that a technology of this potential impact was developed here in the state of the Great Salt Lake. The plants grown here have taught us how to deal with this issue. And as someone from a coastal Caribbean city, I'm really excited to see how this will impact my region. But all of us at Block Inoculum are excited to take this technology to the world to help farmers and plants stand up to salt. Thank you.
Okay. To the second. Well done, well done. All right, you guys have 5 minutes with our judges.
Can you share a little bit more about the delivery mechanism?
Yeah, absolutely. So we take our bacterial cocktail and then place them into stasis. You can use glycerol, but we have a different method that we can't talk too much about right now because it's patent pending.
Okay.
And then we basically in a mixer, like a giant cement mixer, we wash these commercial seeds in that inoculum that we've patented, and then they're ready to go from there. So they work with seed distributors, or the farmers work with seed distributors to be able to order this technology.
And are certain seed varieties particularly receptive to this?
Yeah, like I mentioned before, we've tested this on rice, alfalfa, corn. We've yet to find a crop variety that it does not succeed on so far, but those are the most robustly tested varieties or crops.
Thank you.
Have you guys shown this as effective on crop yields? I mean, have you done a larger scale test than maybe in a lab?
Yeah. So as I mentioned before, we tested this on 1,000-acre farms here. You can see the pivot that we tested on. That shows the typical format that we tested it in multiple acre trial settings. So we robustly tested this outdoors in that environment.
Are there any safety issues with the final crop?
That's actually the really great part about this technology. Because this is a naturally occurring bacteria, we are actually streamlined by the regulation process because there aren't expected to be many issues with this technology.
Is a crop considered a GMO when it's done?
No, so that's actually why we're streamlined. We're not a GMO. It's a naturally occurring technology that we just alter other microbiomes with.
Are soil salinities similar enough that it's broadly applicable across environments? Like the global problem is obviously huge, but would Utah's salty soil be comparable to African salty soil?
Yeah, that's another great question. That's why we're testing right now in places like Guyana, all the way to India soon, where we can be sure of that. However, arid climates are really quite similar around the globe, except for high altitude environments, but those are pretty limited geographically that are also arid and salty.
How did you guys get knowledge about this problem? I mean, what did you come to school with a concern about it, or was this through a class that you took?
So one of our co-founders is a farmer, but so he's been dealing with that issue for a long time. Actually, one of Lance that we talked about earlier, it's his father who inspired him to get into farming as well. So we were familiar with that issue because he was dealing with it, and then there was some research being done at BYU as well. So that's how we were able to dive into it a little bit more.
Good.
How do the seed companies feel about it? Does it violate patents for them, or are there any types of GMO type seeds that it couldn't work with?
Yeah, we're excited to work with seed distributors. It's a whole other market for them to enter. They normally aren't able to sell seeds at all to places that are, inundated by salinity. So they're happy about it. We're happy about it as well.
How much does it add to the cost?
Yeah, so let's say that an acre of seeds cost $150. We add $3 extra to that cost, so $153.
Have you looked at the effectiveness on orchard-type crops like the southern San Joaquin Valley in California, where they have an extreme salinity issue? Have you considered that as well?
Yeah, we were actually just at the Global
World
Ag Tech right over there in Tulane, where they're quite familiar with that problem. We've met some farmers there that they're excited about pilots there as well.
What does the process look like to scale up manufacturing?
Yeah, biofermenters, they're quite easy to work with. So we're able to scale this quite easily with existing production facilities. We have another company that does bacteria growth that we're looking to partner with and use their facilities to grow in.
You can call yourself a driver in Utah because I'm cutting you off. All right, well done, guys. Well done. Thank you so much. By the way, we don't do that just because it's entertaining, but because then it's fair for all of the teams. Same amount of time. Does that make sense? All right, let's do another giveaway, guys. Oh, yeah. Who's excited for this? This is Myostorm, okay? This is a ball. All the finals read the teleprompter. Former SIOY competitors in 2018 made this Myostorm ball. Appeared on ABC's Shark Tank, and all the sharks wanted their heated massage therapy ball. Thank you, Myostorm founders. Who will win? A Myostorm meteor. Oh, I decide that. All right. Let's see here. Ticket number 3880. I came a little early. 3033. What? All right. Right up front. Come on up. Enjoy.
Thank you.
And I don't know. You can have that one too. All right. Thank you so much. Go see Jonathan. And guys, as you can see, we got some exciting props this time. So will you welcome Team 3 Quick Stick?
Imagine it's a Monday morning. You're tired, you're groggy, you're driving into work when you hit a pothole. Well, congratulations, your Monday just got worse. So as you're sitting on the side of the road repairing that freshly popped tire, it probably doesn't feel like we spend $48 billion every year repairing and maintaining our $2.4 trillion road infrastructure. Luckily for you, I used to be a foreman on a road crew, and road repair is what I did every day. Most road repairs and most road failures start as a small crack that grows into a large crack that then turns into a small pothole that can develop into a major repair. The reason why these large cracks and small potholes often go unaddressed is because they're difficult and expensive to correct. It starts by bringing in a crew full of guys, a truck full of asphalt, a skid steer, and a steamroller, completely removing and replacing the portion of damaged asphalt. This repair starts at $2,500 and can close the road for hours at a time. But I'm going to show you how with Quick Stick, one guy with a broom, a shovel, and a propane torch can make the same repair in just 10 minutes for $4 a foot. Let's see how it works. Start by removing any dirt or debris from the crack using a broom or compressed air. With your propane torch, evaporate any moisture and burn out any vegetation that may be in the crack. Here you can see me applying the Quick Stick material. Notice that it's completely safe to handle. It isn't burning me or sticking to my gloves. After the material is aligned, firmly compact it into the crack with a boot or a tamp. Here you can see me warming up and melting the Quick Stick material into the crack. Finally, smooth off the surface with a shovel. What's awesome about the Quick Stick material is that in just 5 minutes, the material is sufficiently set, allowing you to open the road up to traffic. It took a lot of prototyping and testing to get Quick Stick to work as well as it did in that video. In fact, the first time I made Quick Stick, it was so rigid, it was more like a quick brick. It was almost impossible to fit into the crack. But with later iterations, I'm able to stretch and thin the material out, allowing it to adapt to cracks of varying widths. What's also awesome about the material is multiple sticks can be easily cut with a shovel and melted together for larger cracks. All of these attributes were refined and addressed through multiple iterations and tests. Everything from the dimensions to the formulation of the material has been adapted and iterated upon. What makes Quick Stick truly unique is the rapid cure time, its rapid set, the ease of application, and its load-bearing properties. Those load-bearing properties are really important for restoring the structural integrity of the asphalt, improving ride quality, and preventing things like high heels and snowplow blades from getting stuck in the material. I've talked to a lot of industry professionals, from fellow contractors to, fellow contractors to city and school district representatives, and each of them have been so excited about these special attributes of the Quick Stick. These attributes allow Quick Stick to fill a gap in the market that from outside the industry you may not immediately see, but each one of you has personally felt. So the next time you hit a bump in the road, remember how Quick Stick could make your day just a little bit smoother.
Very well done. Very well done. You have 5 minutes with the judges.
All right.
Good job on the presentation. I spent some time on a road crew as well. I was the grunt, though. I probably worked for somebody like you. And I did do a decent amount of crack sealing with the traditional sort of tar-based, oil-based spray. Is there a width of crack at which your solution is superior, or is to those traditional methods, or is it, competitive with the most narrow crack?
Yeah.
And
so
how wide before a traditional patch, asphalt patch, is a superior solution?
So this is really for cracks that are larger than 1.5 inches, or really 1 inch. We're going to have 2 different molds. One is a 1x2, and the other is a 2x4. And I don't see this product being used for cracks much larger than 8 inches. I'm not sure if that answers your question.
Yeah, it does. And then have you seen tape-based solutions or other comparable solutions to this, solid filler that you developed?
Yeah, so there are similar products on the market, but nothing that is comparable in terms of application process and cost. So all of those products are either a temporary emergency fix, or they require bringing in a specialized equipment that can cost hundreds of thousands of dollars, or a full crew of guys.
Thank you.
Can you tell us a little bit about the composition of that material that you're holding? Is it a composite of something? Is it have any gravel in it? Just tell us a little bit about,
Yes.
if you can.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about it.
It's a polymerized asphalt with a couple fillers in it, as well, that's then mixed with aggregate. The aggregate is what gives it those load-bearing properties. And the ratio and the type of aggregate and asphalt, everything that was used is all stuff that we've been testing and iterating upon.
So it doesn't outgas anything unusual? It could be dangerous for the road crew?
No. This is essentially crack seal mixed with rock.
And I assume from what you're showing, this isn't like your average consumer isn't buying this at Home Depot and taking care of problems on his driveway. This is going to be municipalities that are going to be purchasing this.
That would be the primary market, but anyone who owns an asphalt surface, from property managers to homeowners with an asphalt driveway, could easily install the material on their own. It is just $100 of tools from Home Depot.
What's the key technology in it?
I'm sorry, could you repeat that?
What's your key technology that makes it work?
So at the core is the fact that it's a molded stick of material. This allows us to enhance the workability and completely removes the need to have specialized equipment to come and apply the material on the road.
Is it B-staged or is it thermoplastic, or like how should we think about it? Is it a B-stage?
It's a polymerized asphalt. So the melting point's around 240 degrees, and it won't hit combustion until around 600.
Okay.
How are the cold weather properties? Does it get brittle, the sub-freezing?
Yes, this is something that's really important, especially because it's going to be used primarily in cold environments. It's designed to stretch and expand and contract with the surrounding asphalt, which is why you're getting those cracks there in the first place. So in cold environments, it's expected we do perform bend tests, penetration tests, flow and melt tests. All of these are important for maintaining that bond and repair across seasons. And yes.
Go ahead. Oh, sorry.
We're also going to adjust the material based off where it's being shipped and distributed to adjust for specific climates. In hotter environments, you're going to want a stiffer, stronger material, where in colder environments, you're going to want a softer material.
Okay, and you got a good CTE match with the surrounding asphalt then?
Yes.
Good.
You said it's a molded material, it's not an extruded and then cut material?
So that is one of the big challenges that we face right now, is manufacturing, anticipating demand, and what kind of manufacturing process is ideal for the demand we're expecting. Both of those are things that we're evaluating. We're looking at extrusion and molded processes.
How does this compare cost-wise to traditional methods?
So our material starts, for manufacturing costs, is 40 cents per foot.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Well done. Yeah. What'd I tell you guys? Amazing stuff. Can't believe they come up with this. Now, we are going to give away this. That's also an SIOY competitor from the past. This is from Phone Soap. They have several products on the market at phonesoap.com. They've appeared on Shark Tank, Fox News, The Today Show, and QVC, and they'll be appearing here on the stage later in the show. So let's get excited for that. Woo. All right, so the winner of this Phone Soap is 981348. All right, we got a winner. Woo! Woo-hoo-hoo. just so you know, it keeps your phone from being, oh, come on up. I was just, killing time. There you go. Congratulations. Oh, and go if you don't mind going this way and seeing Jonathan. Contract thing. I don't know what it is, a piece of paper. Okay. So we're going to introduce Team 4, Spot Parking. Please give them a warm welcome.
Did you know 51% of parking violations on college campuses go completely undetected? Our goal here at Spot Parking is to be able to reduce that number down to 0%. We surveyed thousands of universities across the country, including the BYU security team, which is in attendance today, and found that there are 3 major problems with parking enforcement. The first problem is it's extremely ineffective. Like I said, over half of violations are going undetected, resulting in hundreds of thousands of dollars of missed revenue each and every year. The second problem is it's very expensive. The average university spends about $400,000 on parking enforcement each and every year as well, on something that doesn't work. And that's the third problem. Students know that. I don't even own a car, and I know if I parked on campus, I most likely wouldn't even get a ticket.
Now, in the parking enforcement market right now, there's really 2 existing solutions. First off, vehicle-mounted license plate recognition cameras can be very affordable, but are labor-intensive to use. Secondly, individual parking sensors above or below each parking spot are low maintenance and can be accurate, but are very expensive to implement. Here at Spot Parking, we solve both of these problems. And the way that we do this is through an AI-powered object detection and tracking system that follows vehicles as it enters the parking lot and eventually occupies a spot. As the vehicle enters the lot, its license plate is read, and that allows us to know exactly what vehicle is parked in what spot at any given time on a college campus. In the past 3 months, we've been through 3 major iterations of our software, and in that time, we've been able to double our resolution, double our frame rate, and decrease our missed tracks by almost 50%. Now, to highlight a few things here, each vehicle is assigned a unique tracking identifier that's associated with its license plate. Each parking spot is categorized as either occupied or unoccupied, and that data is passed to parking enforcement officers. Now, if you've ever tried to park on a college campus before, this is probably a familiar sight to you. Every single spot is full, and there's nowhere for you to park. Here at Spot Parking, as we're able to more consistently enforce parking policies, the people who park illegally will do so less often, opening up an estimated 27% more spaces on college campuses for people who actually paid for passes.
This is currently being tested through a recent pilot program launched here at BYU. Right here you can see the Crabtree lot directly north of this building here, currently running the object tracking model.
Now, the way that we do this is through a 2-tiered system of convolutional neural networks that handles detection, tracking, and re-identification. This fits into our larger cloud-based infrastructure that lets us pass data from the cameras on the ground to the parking enforcement officers in their vehicles, all through the Spot Parking app.
This Spot Parking app is what we know will be able to reduce labor expenses at universities. Here we want to show you some screenshots. Here's a map view where you can see all the cars parked on campus and which ones are allowed there and which ones aren't. You can also see this information through list view with violation data, plate information, when and where they parked as well. Once you select one, citation view gets pulled up with ticket information automatically populated, plate history, where the vehicle's parked, and you can even print the citation directly from the phone as well. This has huge implications for labor expenses. Here are some examples of labor expenses annually at universities around the country, some of them going into the millions. This has huge implications for revenues as well. With over half of the violations being undetected, we anticipate being able to grab all of those, being able to increase revenue substantially, with Ohio State being at $1.2 million in annual revenue from citations alone. We also expect to be able to reduce costs significantly by upwards of 65%.
Now, the market for parking enforcement is huge. Our target entry market of colleges and universities in the United States is a $750 million market. The total parking enforcement market is a $5.8 billion market that's expected to double in the next 8 years. We know that our customers need these solutions, and we're excited to provide them to them through Spot Parking, the future of parking enforcement. Thank you.
Thank you. Can this be extended to someone sitting in my pew at church?
Maybe.
Maybe.
Someday.
Yeah, 5 minutes with the judges.
Thank you. We're going to invite Cooper Young to join us for the Q&A.
This idea can't be very popular with your roommates.
That's true. It is not. It is not.
And I can speak from experience, parking police at BYU are very good at their job. You said you reduced the error rate through testing by 50%, if I heard that right. Where is it currently in the latest testing you've done?
So I'm sorry, what was the question again? We reduced, well, by 50%, is what you said?
Yeah, I think it was the detection error rate. I might have misheard you though.
With the model.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So what we decreased in our software development time was the amount of missed tracks. So the amount of vehicles that enter the lot and are not picked up by the neural networks and tracked as they move throughout the lot. So right now we're sitting at about a 95 to 97% accuracy rate of detecting vehicles as they enter the lot, and that continuously improves as we go through more iterations of our networks.
Okay. Can you talk a little bit about the training data set that you're using and how you're developing that data set?
Yeah, so our initial training data set was what's called the COCO data set, which stands for Common Objects in Context. And so that's a publicly available data set of millions and millions of labeled pictures that include things like vehicles. It can dial down to differentiate between different types of vehicles like cars, trucks, and SUVs. And then from there, we were able to implement some of our own training data to improve the detection rates. And then we also implemented a custom re-identification pipeline to cut down on those missed tracks that we were talking about earlier.
What's your revenue model? Do you see this as a service type?
Yeah.
Or do you see it as a capital equipment or a percentage of revenue?
Exactly. So universities will pay an upfront installation cost that will be scalable depending on the size of the university. And this will also cover any hardware costs if they decide to purchase cameras. After that, they'll pay an annual subscription-based fee, which is depending on how many cameras are operating the spot parking system.
Is there any thought of taking a percentage of the improved revenue from the universities?
Yes, we've definitely thought of it, but the idea is we are more efficient and we are actually reducing the number of violations. So if we're doing that, taking the percentage would actually eat ourselves our own revenue. So
we're expecting that the violation counts will go up dramatically originally, and then students will realize that they can't park on campus and get away with it. And so they'll begin, we expect pass revenue to increase and violations to go down.
And just to follow up, do you see this as a potential to eliminate paid parking attendance in paid lots and improve revenue or ease of revenue?
yeah, exactly. The application isn't just for universities. The idea is this is larger than universities. You can think anywhere that need paid parking, airports, event venues, urban centers, we can use the spot parking system that would be able to track it, and we could bypass parking passes, yeah.
Okay.
I've seen enough spy movies where you take black paint and paint over the camera because you're upset about, I mean, I can see students being upset about this camera installation. Well, what's going to keep, how are you going to secure this equipment?
Yeah, so one of the great things about using AI and computer vision is that it can detect if something like that happens, right? It can detect that it no longer has the view that it used to, and it can capture the video frames right before that happened, where presumably we'll get a very clear shot of whoever did its face.
Okay. What made you guys think of this idea? I mean, where did this come from?
So it started about 4 years ago, before we all started our mission. We were thinking about how could we have an app where we could just see where we can park on campus. From there, we realized that there's not a way to monetize that with a very expensive infrastructure with poor college students. So we kind of pivoted the entire business about a year ago and really decided that we should focus on helping parking enforcement. Once this infrastructure is built, we want to go back to our original idea and give this information to students and have a live updating app where they can all see exactly when and where they can park on campus.
Who wrote the code?
Who wrote the code? So I did the front end. So I developed the app, and then Dean here did the back end with the object tracking.
Yeah.
All right, I think there are a lot of people besides college students who would pay money to know where they can park in busy event venues or airports. So I think you've got still have another value stream there that's potential in the app.
Exactly. There's a lot of ways to provide value with it, and we're just starting with parking enforcement. We have a much bigger vision than that.
How do you upload?
Go ahead.
Sorry. How do you upload the data? Are you using Wi-Fi, cellular connections? Like, what's the infrastructure?
Yeah,
there?
so the The great thing is that it uses whatever the university already has. So for example, here at BYU, we haven't installed any new cameras. We're just using the cameras that they already use.
Awesome. Well done. Thank you. All right, thank you so much. Thank you so much. And now we have giveaway number 4. And as we all know, bigger means more valuable, right? The heavier it is. This is a NASA Space Shuttle Discovery Lego set. Oh yeah, some audible gasps out there. 2,000 pieces, which, I mean, I can't even do a puzzle that's more than a couple hundred. But, you know, it's 3D. Good luck is what I'm saying. All right, so who is the unlucky winner? 981334. Going once. Going twice. Oh, okay, there we go. That's the frantic running I want to see. There he is. All right. Oh, you're on the back, okay. 334, yep, that's right. There you go. Congratulations. You can go off this way, talk to Jonathan. All right. Woo, we're having fun. Believe it or not, we have more extremely innovative and impressive presentations for you. So let's welcome team number 5, LesionInsight.
If you are listening to this, chances are either you or someone close to you will suffer a stroke. There's 800,000 stroke cases each year in the United States, making it among the top 5 causes of death. However, most strokes are actually not fatal, instead causing debilitating side effects, anything from memory loss to blindness. This is because strokes cause an area of brain damage called a lesion, which is visible in MRI scans like this one. One stroke symptom I will mention is called stroke-induced cardiomyopathy. This is when a stroke interferes with areas of the brain responsible for cardiac function, resulting in complications and even heart failure. Early identification of stroke side effects is critical in treating and saving lives. However, diagnosing neurological conditions is complex, as many of these conditions are subtle, misattributed to other causes, or as is the case with cardiomyopathy, may be impossible to notice until it is too late. Meet LesionInsight, a machine learning powered solution to the problem of stroke symptom identification for use by doctors and hospitals. Let's see this product in action. So first, go to our webpage, lesionbank.org. From here, click on Predict, and you can either upload your patient's imaging data or draw the area of lesion directly onto a brain template. Click Generate, and it will make something called a lesion network map, which is used as the input to our predictive model. The results are summarized in a table, rank ordering the most likely symptoms. For this particular lesion, the most likely symptom was memory impairment, which makes sense as this lesion was in the hippocampus, the brain's memory center. The brain is made up of 100 billion neurons interconnected through synapses. And for this reason, a brain lesion actually disrupts an entire network of brain regions that extend beyond the lesion itself. This lesion network map is invisible to regular MRI and can only be discovered through intensive processing. This lesion network mapping processing has never been clinically implemented for a variety of limiting factors. For one, it requires a lot of coding knowledge, as well as access to data sets that are closed source or simply don't exist. But most importantly, it requires a lot of computational resources. For generating even one lesion network map using traditional methods, it can take many hours to even days of continuous processing. LesionInsight overcomes these challenges, making lesion network mapping a viable tool for clinical diagnostics for the first time ever. We cut down the processing speed more than 1,000-fold via a completely novel technique that we've called the pre-computed connectome. This is essentially a highly optimized data library that enables us to create these lesion network maps in about 60 seconds. We also created our own custom tool that allows for outlining brain lesions within the browser and assembled the world's largest open source lesion dataset of its type, including more than 100 different symptoms, including rare ones like cardiomyopathy. I also wanted to mention some key engineering details. We scraped PubMed using large language models and convolutional neural networks for image analysis and created a large cohort of data for training. We trained a predictive model using a technique known as principal component analysis, followed by multinomial logistic regression. And this predictive model achieved more than 70% cross-validation accuracy at recognizing symptoms just from MRI scans. We deployed this technology in a web application utilizing a Django backend, a Postgres database, and AWS for cloud infrastructure. I also wanted to mention the developmental journey. We started about a year ago, and since then we've pushed more than 400 prototypes to our GitHub repository, and we presented this technology to Harvard Medical School, with which we made a valuable partnership and were able to interact directly with clinicians and even researchers. LesionInsight isn't just for strokes. There are many brain diseases that can actually cause areas of brain damage called lesions, including multiple sclerosis, Alzheimer's disease, even brain cancer. This tool can inform neurosurgeons in advance of the possible side effects of surgical resection. LesionInsight isn't just an idea. It's already built, and it already works. Thank you for listening.
Thank you. Well done. So this is different from the game Star Wars Legion, right?
Yes.
Okay, you have 5 minutes with the judges.
So first of all, my twin brother, who helped me build this, is going to join me for the Q&A.
How do you verify the analysis is correct? Like you've done all this analysis, you're doing all this machine learning. How do you verify that analysis is correct?
So that's a great question, and I'd love to clarify. So we have a big cohort of lesions, about 1,000 lesions mapped to different symptoms, and we build this predictive model using a leave one out approach. So we leave out one particular lesion and rebuild the whole model from scratch just to predict that one lesion that it's never seen. That means that the model doesn't overfit, and it's able to predict for lesions that it's never seen. And we iteratively did this leave one out cross-validation, and across all different rounds of cross-validation, the overall net accuracy was about 71%. Does that answer your question?
Yeah.
Is that satisfactory, 71%, just dealing with patient expectations for experiencing certain symptoms? Does that meet the standard of care that's expected?
That's also a good question that I'd love to clarify. So first thing to know is that our model is actually getting more and more accurate. When we first trained it on a smaller lesion cohort, we were in the 50 to 60% accuracy, and as we expanded to include more and more lesions, our accuracy increased. So as this thing gets more and more used, we're actually going to have access to more data that's going to increase the accuracy. Another factor to consider is currently our model doesn't know any demographic information about the patients, only the anatomical structure of the lesion. Once we incorporate demographic information like age, sex, or even BMI, you're going to see a lot more increases in accuracy. Not only that, but this isn't necessarily going to replace regular diagnostic procedures. It's about rapid screening of anatomical scans to give immediate feedback. So there's certain symptoms that doctors are never even going to consider, but by passing this through a model that instantaneously identifies the likely symptoms, they can then proceed to have more robust diagnostic procedures. The advantage of this is obviously regular cognitive examinations like the Montreal Clinical Assessment actually require a follow-up appointment with a specialist, and even the test itself, the gold standard is the Montreal Clinical Assessment, can cost more than $100. So there's definitely certain advantages to have this automated screening of patient imaging data.
What's your target if it's 71% currently?
Sorry, may I just add to that answer? So our model also will give a probability that its diagnosis is correct. So although it's 71% accurate on average, if it's extremely confident for one specific case, it'll tell you like 98% accurate. Or if it's not confident, it'll tell you, say, 30% accurate. So it's not going to be a uniform accuracy for all cases, and the doctors will be able to tell when the diagnosis is almost 100% accurate.
Yeah. And to answer your question, how accurate do we think this can get? I am optimistic that we can get well over 90% accuracy when we build the data set larger and we incorporate other variables from the actual patient demographic information.
Who will be the primary customer for it?
Can you repeat that? I couldn't quite hear.
Who will be your primary customer?
So I foresee this technology being used by hospitals and clinics. So it would be directly integrated into the hospital infrastructure to automatically screen patient imaging data. It can also be used by any doctor that has some amount of neuroanatomical experience just to automatically screen if you have access to patient imaging data, CT or MRI. So definitely the target audience is hospitals and clinics, and then maybe more specific uses by actual clinicians themselves.
In addition, like neurosurgeons who are planning which direction to cut into a brain can use this tool to find the best place to cut in with the minimum brain damage.
Guys, this is exciting technology. It's a great, looks like a great product. This isn't unique to what you're working on. I mean, this is being done, a lot of research is going on in this area at other institutions, National Institute of Health, et cetera. What is unique about the way you're approaching it?
Yeah, so that's a good question. So as someone who's really involved in this area of research, we're doing something that's completely novel, which is we're using functional connectivity information in order to identify the global patterns of disruption throughout the brain. So there's a lot of labs that are using convolutional neural networks to try to diagnose radiological scans, and they're achieving fairly good accuracy, but they're only basing that off of the anatomy visible within the scan. Whereas our pre-computed connectome enables you to identify the global connections that are disrupted by the brain lesion, which is really not something that anyone else is doing. And being able to use functional network mapping in such a responsive time frame is really never been done before.
Right. Well done. Thanks, guys. Well done. Awesome. Thank you so much. My brain couldn't do that. And it's supposedly functional. All right, so next giveaway. We've got a drone. I mean, self-explanatory, right? Fly it around, bother people with it, get shots of trees, because the internet needs more of that. All right, so who's it gonna be? I have a drone, by the way. I used it once. All right, so the winner is gonna be 981197. If you didn't win, you can have mine. Did you win? Did you win? Yeah, get excited, buddy! Woo! All right, there you go.
Thanks.
Yeah, congratulations. It's a great giveaway. I'm just teasing you guys. It's an awesome giveaway. I'm just not that innovative with my drone. All right, so we got 2 more teams. Are you guys excited for 2 more teams? All right, we have Team 6 ready to go, so please give a warm welcome to Stratus.
Hey everyone, we're Stratus, and we're revolutionizing healthcare with voice AI technology. If I didn't have to deal with insurance, I would love my job. This is a quote from Lindy, a current Stratus customer and office manager in a clinic. Lindy would rather be doing this, spending time with her patients. Lindy's problem can be summed up into 4 key things. The first one is that clinics can no longer spend time with their patients. In fact, 97% of clinics that we interviewed said that they wish that they spent less time on the phone with insurance. The second thing is that the problem Stratus is solving specifically of insurance verification is extremely time intensive, taking an average clinic 4 to 6 hours every day on the phone. The third thing is that most of these calls are routine and transactional, and that means that humans hate them, but they're perfect for being automated by AI. And the fourth thing is that the office staff that do these calls are unhappy and they're expensive, costing on average $4,000 a month. That's where Stratus comes in. Stratus completely automates these calls to insurance using conversational AI. We do it in a completely novel way using large language models that we have custom built and calling infrastructure we have also custom built. So this is what the product looks like. Every time a patient comes in, a clinic has to verify their insurance. So they're going to go to our dashboard and they're going to add a patient and their insurance information. From there, once a patient is added, they're going to click verify. That's going to send out a completely automated call using our conversational AI to the insurance to gather the benefits information. That's then relayed back to the clinic in an easy to access PDF. So the clinic knows exactly what the patient's covered for, and they can provide them treatment. So how did we build this? First, we spent 4 months actively developing and iterating on the product with live feedback from customers. Then we spent a month within 2 clinics doing beta testing. And then since our product has gone live 2 months ago with actual clinics, our model accuracy has went from 50 to 95%. And that's been done using an expert team of people who are calling in the Philippines simultaneously with our model, and our model is trained against that data. So the value that Stratus provides is incredible. Instead of spending $4,000 a month on the problem and spending on average 30 minutes on the phone for a single patient insurance verification, that process is 97% quicker with Stratus, and it's 10 times cheaper. I think Dr. Scoville, a current Stratus customer, sums it up best. Stratus has helped our practice save time and money. It's incredible. Dr. Scoville isn't alone in this sentiment. We're actively in 20 clinics around the country who are paying to use our software and growing quickly. This leads to huge market opportunity. Within dental, it's $500 million, and within the broader medical community, it's $5 billion. However, let's not forget about Lindy, who we talked about earlier. The real thing that makes Stratus exciting is now she can focus on what matters most, her patients. Thank you.
Nice. You have 5 minutes with the judges.
All right, thank you.
Oh, hey.
And this is one of my team, Adams.
So you tested against clinics in or call centers in the Philippines. So you feel like you have a pretty good accent capability there on the insurance side.
Sorry, repeat that question.
Do you feel your AI, the conversational AI, has a pretty good tolerance for accents? I know that some of the call centers you're going to be calling into will have varied levels of English capability.
Yeah, so that's why we train it on live calls, is that allows us to train for all of these different cases that could potentially come up when our AI is making that call. So we haven't just trained it on somebody speaking perfect English, because a lot of these call centers that the insurance providers use outsourced solutions like teams in the Philippines, so that's why we've trained it on live call data.
Does it require the conversational piece, or could it be a direct, just data transfer?
Yeah, that's a great question. So there's a lot of companies out there that are actually trying to do this with a live data transfer, but nobody's been able to solve it because these clinics can't get all of the information that they need on that live data center. Basically, there's a misalignment of incentives, and the insurance won't provide all of this in that direct data transfer, so they have to call. And that's where our solution comes in, is we make that call for them, allowing them to be able to access all of that data. So that's, hopefully that answers that question.
Yeah, and so if I'm understanding right, it interrogates a certain constraint set of questions to get answers around the constraint set of potential treatments.
Sorry,
and what coverage would be available for different treatments? Is that how the model works?
Yeah, so basically, when we work with an office, we can customize any code or treatment that we want or that they want to gather data on. So if they want to know, for example, in a dental clinic, if surgical extraction is covered because they're a specialty clinic, we can put that on their insurance form that we then feed into our model, and that can go and grab that data. So we've built it so it's completely modular for each of these clinics that we're working with, because none of them are exactly the same.
And what do you use for text-to-voice and voice-to-text overlay?
So right now, there are a few options out there on the market, and we've explored various options. Whenever you're building a product that is customer-facing, so for example, if you were answering calls from a patient, you need to have a really solid user interface where the voice sounds very realistic. That's very important for the patient. We found that when we're talking to the insurance companies, the specific voice that you give them is not as important as giving them the correct data and credentials. So right now we are just experimenting with a few surfaces from AWS to do the text-to-speech.
Have you seen any issues where the insurance agents or the ones that you're interacting with realize it's AI and just cut you off?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. And the great thing about this is that these people on the other line are required to give the insurance data if you give them the correct credentialing information. So that's the patient's information and the office's information. So as long as it's not a terrible experience and we're, making them repeat themselves like 8 times, if we have a decent experience, then they have to give the data to us.
Who did the coding for this? Are you both involved in that, or is there a bigger team involved?
Yeah, so we did the coding, and then we actually have 3 other developers that are working on this actively with us. So there's 5 developers working on this.
Do you have any professors that are working with you as well?
No, this is all built by us.
What would you say is the core technology?
So at the end of the day, the most important technology is our model, our large language model. So this is the same technology that powers, tools such as ChatGPT. The cool thing about our model is that it allows an intelligent AI agent that can adapt to any situation, adapt to any question that's asked, and once you give it information that it's supposed to gather, it can ask those questions and gather that information in return. So our model is, our key piece of technology that we are continually training and iterating on to improve and become faster and get the data more accurately.
All right. Well done. Thank you. I just have one question. Would you give me a piece of the company if I gave you proprietary secret information that this would also, there's a huge market for introverts? Because I'm an introvert. I'm just kidding, I'm not an introvert. All right, okay, let's give away a Nintendo Switch. This new little gadget was created by someone who was not a BYU student. Or maybe some BYU students were involved. Something to look up. Something to ask, AI. If you haven't heard of a Nintendo Switch, then ask your neighbor. 981-355. All right. We got someone winning this Nintendo Switch. Oh, it's a Nintendo Switch Lite. I hope that's okay.
Sure.
All right, great.
I asked my neighbor what it was.
Perfect. And you can go down to Jonathan. Thank you so much. All right, guys. Wow. We are down to the last team. So please give a warm welcome to our last team, Team 7, Melbas Cancer Therapeutics.
Meet the Bastions. Here you see Mark, Melinda, and their 3 children, Timothy, Michael, and Brooke. I want to highlight Melinda here for a second. Melinda is an incredible light. She is a source of hope for friends and family, and she has been an inspiration for me throughout my life as I've gone through times of indecision, times where life has had me down. In June 2021, Melinda was diagnosed with a fast-growing giant cell tumor in her leg. To complicate matters, Melinda was 3 months pregnant at the time, and this was a sore and sad introduction into a complicated world of cancer. To understand cancer, we need to understand a biological process called apoptosis. Apoptosis is your body's natural process to kill cells at the end of their cell life. Old cells will trigger your body and say, hey, I'm old, I need to die, and will soon be replaced by new cells. The problem with cancer is cancer shuts off the apoptosis function, so your body has no way to naturally self-regulate the growth of cancer cells. Now, we have external solutions that we've done to try to target and kill cancer cells, but they're hazardous and ineffective. The first being chemo. What chemo does is it targets any cell which is undergoing the process of cell division. Essentially, cancer cells divide and multiply at a faster rate, so if we can kill everything that's divided, we'll hopefully kill the cancer. We're also going to kill a ton of our healthy cells. Radiation, on the other hand, will send a concentrated amount of energy to a targeted area, and it will kill everything within a targeted area, cancerous or healthy. Neither of these can delineate between cancer and healthy cells. They target processes. So at Melbas, we had two questions. One, can we target cancer cells? And two, once targeted, can we initiate the biological process of apoptosis to kill the cancer? We discovered that pH targeting is an underutilized and new and innovative way to be able to target cancer cells. Cancer cells have on average about a 0.4 to 0.5 lower pH level than their healthy cell counterparts. We were also able to engineer a protein that is able to automatically induce apoptosis with any cell which it interacts. We combined these two and created a mechanism that could, in theory, target cancer cells and simultaneously introduce apoptosis to kill the cancer. We tested this on lung cancer, and you'll see these two columns. The column on the left are the healthy cells, sitting right at 1, which means that 100% of the healthy cells in the study remained. Whereas the column on the right, the lung cancer cells, 90% of them were killed. We need to take this test to the next level, which is testing in vivo in mice. And if we can continue these type of results, we hope to continue to move forward with it. Now, bringing it back, Melinda's story doesn't end well. Chemo and radiation were not sufficient to preserve her life. Her last great miracle was that she successfully delivered sweet baby Grace a few months before her passing. Melinda's hope is something that we hope at Melbas to continue, and so we decided to name the company after her. If the slides will work. Yeah, there we go. So thank you.
And thank you for not making me interrupt that. That's awesome, Ben. You have 5 minutes with the judges.
Awesome.
What made you concentrate on lung cancer as your first approach on this?
That was random and arbitrary, to be completely honest. All cancer cells sit at their extracellular pH level sits between 6.5 and 6.9. And so what's really unique about this solution is that as long as we can target the pH level, it should be widely applicable to various tumors that exist.
And what's the method of, is it injection or is this a topical? I'm not sure how the
Yeah, that's a great question. So far, we've only been doing testing in vitro, so we've just been pipetting the solution into the clumps of cells. What we're looking at is, because we want it to be a targeted delivery and we don't want it circulating throughout the body, there's a new and innovative injection method that's being explored, primarily for crossing the blood-brain barrier and getting into your central nervous system, because you can't get therapeutics through that, but it's called convection-enhanced delivery. We're hoping to be able to apply it outside of the blood-brain barrier, and there isn't much literature and research on that right now because the moneymaker is getting into the blood-brain barrier, but that's the space that we hope to operate in, is potentially through convection-enhanced delivery.
How did you come up with the idea?
So I have been spending the last several years bouncing around the East Coast. I'm like a super senior in school. And I discovered that there's this area called translational research of professors that are doing research who need help marketing it or making it more marketable. And I've spent time in the Ivy Leagues on the East Coast and been able to learn about their life sciences ecosystems and the innovative spaces. So I came back to BYU to get involved with Tim Jenkins and what he was doing. And I got paired up with Dario Mizrahi in the life sciences department. And he had another patent he was interested in that he was stoked, or that he was he'd worked on with a grad student, and I went to talk to him about it, and he said, let me tell you what I'm really excited, and that was the apoptosis-inducing protein. And so he brought me on at that point, and that's when we discovered the mechanism to be able to target, which was the pH detection protein. So that's kind of the story of how we get there.
Are there competing pH-based therapies out there in literature or that you're seeing?
Yeah, there's a separate group that they also utilize apoptosis, and they got a ton of buzz. I think they're out of France. It's slightly different in their method and application. I think it goes through gene therapy itself. I'd have to go and research it, but there is a wide gap of, there is a bit of overlap, but there's a wide gap in the specific tumors that they're targeting versus the general application that our therapy would be applicable to.
Have you put the apoptosis-inducing protein together with the pH protein? Like, have you actually tested the two of them together?
Yeah, so that was our therapeutic that we tested. And what we essentially did is we took E. coli vesicles. Vesicles are just the mechanism that carry proteins throughout the body. And we injected both of the proteins into the E. coli, had them reproduce it, ground up the E. coli, so we were left with these vesicles, and verified that both proteins were in it, and then treated the cancer and the healthy cells with the treatment.
Got it.
Can you describe the path forward, the steps you see to bring this to market?
Yeah, so it's a multi-year process to bring a therapeutic like this, and it will involve human clinical trials at some point. The next phase, which we'll only need about 10 to 15 grand for, is testing in mice. And we'll be able to inject mice with tumors, inject them with the therapeutic. And we're trying to do that through Brigham Young, but we might also have enough money to be able to do that with a third party, which would expedite it. And then after that, we would increase the complexity of the biological systems we'd be testing on. And then eventually, if the therapeutic continued to succeed like it has thus far, we would do human clinical trials, probably through Huntsman.
All right. Awesome. Thank you so much. All right, well, that is the last finalist, so we will excuse our judges. Oh, they left already. They will deliberate, and when they come back, we will announce the 2024 Student Innovator of the Year. Meanwhile, we have another giveaway. And it's not as large as the Lego set, but it's still something. This is Apple AirPods Pro, 2nd generation. They're very small, but it's something, It's okay. All right, ticket number 981349. You got, come on, scream out loud. Who got it? Did someone get it? There he is. All right, come on up. All right. Well, I hope you have a compatible phone. You can go see Jonathan and enjoy your prize. Congratulations. All right. So we will have we'll actually have more prizes just before we hear from the judges and what they've decided. We're going to have like 10 prizes that we're going to give away. I think to motivate you guys to stick around. Okay? Stick around. All right. So, audience voting. Guys, it is your turn. Submit your vote using the QR code that is going to pop up here on the screens. You can only have one vote per person, and this is only for people who are present here today. Do not share this with people who are not here. It's just for the people in attendance right now to make their votes. If you share, the team could be disqualified. Could happen. You have 2 minutes to vote. All right, I'm going to be quiet so you guys can do that. We have 1 minute left, everyone. Three, two, one. Shaboom! All right, thank you for participating in our audience favorite. We are pleased to have two special guests with us today to speak to you. They are former SIOY participants from that earlier prize that we gave away, Phone Soap. These are the co-founders of Phone Soap, Wesley Laporte and Daniel Barnes. Please welcome them to the stage.
Hello, everyone. It's great to be back here on campus. Facilities have been upgraded, I've noticed, since a decade ago in 2011, when myself and Dan co-founded Phone Soap.
The facilities and the awards have been upgraded.
And the awards. That's true. That's true. The prizes are great. But for those of you who don't know what Phone Soap is a cell phone sanitizer that charges your phone and disinfects it using UV light. And we have a lot more products now, but when we started at the Student Innovator of the Year competition at BYU, we started with $1,000, which we won. Like Dan said, you're well, there's inflation now.
Yeah, maybe it's pretty close. I don't know.
So, but this was the first money that we won. Before the Student Innovator of the Year competition, there was something called the Idea Pitch competition, where we just pitched an idea of what Phone Soap was based on the technology as we understood it. And the feedback from the judges at that competition was really helpful for us. They basically told us, well, you got to build something. It was a good pitch, but you actually got to do something. And so we sat down and we're just like, we just got to do it. We don't know how to build anything, but we're just going to try. And so this is what happened. Look at that. Now you're looking at this being like, wow, they pay $1,000. They paid you too much. But this allowed us to actually just, get our feet wet and test the principles of the technology, which were the wavelength of the UVC light, the quartz plate, and the reflectivity of the aluminum. And those three things, as we played with them throughout the years, we got the product to be better and better and more effective. But it all kind of started with something that we literally made in our garage. And so that's kind of, why we're here, to tell everybody a little bit about our story and how it started like this. And how important it is to participate in competitions like these and to, just do it. Just build it. Just start going. And one thing leads to another. And for us, it was the Idea Pitch competition, which led to Student Innovator of the Year, which led to, this is the first product that we shipped. And it looks a lot better, right?
A little less foil.
Yeah. But we came a long way, but it was step by step, and it was through participating in competitions like these and getting feedback from people, critical feedback, sometimes very positive, but other times very negative, and both were very important for us in getting where we are today. For those of you who don't know, Phone Soap was on Shark Tank, and we're in the top 15 companies as far as revenue for Shark Tank companies, approaching about $200 million in sales since we started. So, Very, very humble beginnings indeed, but Dan's going to go ahead and tell you a little bit about that journey.
Yes, so as you can imagine, Shark Tank was, it became our personality. It still is. It's all we talk about. And if you want to know how old we are, you saw on the check, but this was in 2015. So it was a great boost to our business between Student Innovator of the Year and this. We really just had one product and one big customer, Staples, believe it or not. And that was just enough to get us over the line with a shark, Lori Grenier. And Wes and I would much rather be here talking to you than, back there or pitching here or being a judge.
Don't you have PTSD from
a little bit? I can't even look at the photo. It stresses me out. And if you don't know, Lori Grenier about once a year posts on her social media that the sharks in the hallway are not real sharks. So, just if you wanted to know. This was a great boost to our business. With Lori Grenier, we got on, I want to say that weekend or maybe that next weekend, she had us ready and loaded on QVC. So brought our product to a larger market, got us a better supply chain, better ordering power, and from there, we could launch new products. We moved from phone disinfection to tablet and other electronics. And then, I think you all remember what happened, a little thing called COVID-19, which I would ask for some applause, but that would not be appropriate. And we were very grateful to be a business that was able to provide and help during that time. We like to say it was the best and worst thing that's ever happened to us. As you can imagine, for a year, you all here cared about disinfecting a lot, and then for about a year after, you all didn't want to talk about it. I don't think any of you washed your hands for the next year, so that was a little rough. But we continue to work and to grow and to launch new products focused on disinfecting air, water, electronics, which is what we started with. And it all started back here at Student Innovator of the Year. So we have been so excited to hear all of your pitches, and we realize we're missing some AI and some machine learning. We're just an old-fashioned product that doesn't do much else. But it's always a pleasure to be back, and I'm very excited for what you all have as a potential in your future. So thank you.
Thank you.
All right, awesome. Well, the judges were quick, so they're gonna take all of the winning people, get all of the things ready that they need to present them. Meanwhile, we're gonna just give away all the rest of the giveaways. Okay? Yes. Okay. So first, we want to recognize our SIOY sponsors. David and Rachel Weedman and BYU Engineering's Weedman Center for Global Leadership. Thank you. BYU's Ira A. Fulton College of Engineering. Thank you, Dean Mike Jensen. And BYU Rollins Center for Entrepreneurship and Technology. Thank you, Director Mike Hendren. We also want to thank the SIOY staff, the directors, student committee, College of Engineering staff, showcase judges, and mentors. Right. And if you're a BYU student, you can participate in this competition. So if you want to compete in next year's SIOY, visit sioi.byu.edu. It's a lot of acronyms. And sign up for the email list for information and the competition application. Okay, so who's ready for some giveaways? We're going to do lots at a time. Okay, here we go. We have got to start a tiny little Ira A. Fulton College of Engineering. Isn't it cute? Made out of Legos. And you know what I did with mine? Is I made it, and then eventually, day after day, as it sat on my desk, I started taking little parts down and taking these little plants and putting on top, and then it looked like a post-apocalyptic BYU. It's pretty fun. And we got 2 of them! So, who's gonna be? 981306 and 388142. Come on up. Get your prizes. There you go. Thank you. No problem. Did the other ticket have a winner? No? Okay, I'm going to draw a new winner. 981338. Got one back there. All right, sweet. While he's coming up, we've got the next two things are, Cosmo, Engineer Cosmo as a bobblehead. There you go, man. Congratulations. All right, so this is fun. Let's have 981324. I mean 981362. Hey, there you go. Way to yell from the back. Love it. And for the other one, we have 981194. Another hey, hey. Well, congratulations. Well, there you go. Did anyone else hear a ticket? No? Okay. All right. 981149. Yo, I hear a yo. Fantastic. Come on up and get your Cosmo Engineer bobblehead. We also have two white boxes. Yeah, I believe you. I mean, no one else is claiming it. I believe these are tool sets. Very cool wooden box from BYU Engineering. And inside, hope I don't drop all of this, is a handy dandy tool set. Okay? Little tool set Kickstarter for those of you who can fit something in a box. I hope I call you up. 981311. I can hear those little things moving. That's great. It's better than crickets. All right, we have 981174. Was that a win? Say yes? Nope. All right, I guess I will keep both of them. 981161. What have I done wrong? What have I done wrong, guys? I thought you would stay for me. 179. Ah, yeah! All right, you want the boxed or the unboxed one? Bless you. All right, 388026. Oh, we got a winner! All right, sweet. What is next? More climate. This climate is an Everglow light tube, so an inflatable light that you can take camping or literally anywhere. This is yours. All right. Number 981307. You hear that? You hear it? All right. 981158. Did they make it quieter? I like that. Oh, you got it. Come on, guys. You just gotta be as excited as you can. Did I already do this one? 981180. Okay. 981335. All right. Drum roll, please. Yes, everyone. Thank you. 981162. 388036. Oh, right here. There it is. All right. Come on up. Here is that. Here you go. Go over there. And these are mysterious black bags. Oh my goodness. It is, cup. All right. It's an exciting cup, though. Okay, so we have 981169. I don't know. What was it? You get it? You get it? Okay, great. And then 388008. Ah, there we go. There we go. 2 black bags. All right, is that it? That's the giveaways? We are good to go. All right. Now, thank you guys so much for being here and supporting these students. The judges have made their decisions. You have made your decisions. Thank you to our judges one last time for lending their time and expertise to support our student innovators. Brady Wolford, Chris Musso, Craig Paulin, Eric Ellis, and Ryan Woodley. All right, I want to invite Dean Mike Jensen, and Rollins Center Director Mike Hendren, and Weedman Center Director Nicole Stewart up to help award the winners.
Hey, James, before you get going, those teams were amazing, but so was our Swiftie down here. So if you'll sign, you go home with the phone soap of your very own.
Good job. It pays to be a Swiftie. All right. So teams, when I call your name, come onto the stage, pause for a photo, and here we go. All right, your crowd favorite for today is Melbas Cancer Therapeutics.
Congratulations.
Good job.
We're going to put you that. You're going to hold that. Right there. Well done.
All right. Third place winner, being awarded $8,000, is...
Okay.
Stratus! Come on up!
Congratulations. Well done.
Good job.
Nice job.
Work.
Let's grab that.
All right.
Carry that down. That's great.
So much. All right, our second place runner-up for SIOY, awarded $10,000, is Salt Block Inoculum.
Nice job. Well done, you guys.
Good job. Good job. Get back up. You get to hold the check. There you go.
Well done.
Congrats. Congrats. And here it is, the 2024 Student Innovator of the Year, winning $12,000 is going to be exciting when I reveal the name. It's Spot Parking!
Nice job. Well done. Nice job.
All right, thank you to all the sponsors. Thank you to our judges. Thank you to SIOY participants. And thank you all for showing up. We'll see you next year.